yeah.
Woo! Nice hit.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to my second episode of Ask and Tell of YP. I have a very special guest with me, homegrown in Milwaukee, one of our very own, Kim Yang. She's a winner wherever she goes. She's consistent. She plays very well and always at the top. But yeah, give it a round of applause for Kim. And I'm actually a big fan of her just because I'm not only from Milwaukee, but I've heard lots of things either from my older brothers, people in the community, and so she did just play this past J4. And I kind of want to just go right into it. How was your experience at J4? Did you exceed your expectations at all?
Well, I got a lot of opinions on J4. I think it's because I've been playing 10 plus years. I've been going to J4 every single year, and it's definitely changing. It's I wouldn't say evolved, but it's changed a lot from when I first started going. Put it that way. And to kind of see when I first started going to J4 compared to what it is now, a dramatic change. Not too sure if I like that change. I don't really know how to feel about it right now, but our experience, it wasn't the best. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm gonna be straight up. It wasn't the best, and neither have the last couple years going to J4. And I think that really stems from the inconsistency of how the tournament is being ran. Mm-hmm. And I think, a lot of people come from out of state to come and compete for J4. Like, they call it the big dance, right? Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people are wanting to see J4 be what it was back then. But it just is not that at all. And I don't know where the trajectory of J4 is going to be going. And that's not a good feeling for someone who has been playing in it for a long time. Mm-hmm. I think every year the rules are different, or every year something new pops up, and a lot of people just don't know what to expect for it anymore. It's not even just come and play volleyball or football or soccer anymore. It's like there are so many unexpected things that are happening, or rules or regulations or something. I think there's a lack of communication as well between the coordinators, the hosts, and the players. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of drama stirring up online, which I think could be mitigated if like one clear conversation or video or something could be created in order to address some of those issues or concerns, because people are spending a lot of money, coming to Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And I think everyone deserves to know how the tournament's going to be ran weeks before the tournament even starts. Yeah. So I think, I got a lot of mixed feelings right now about J4.
Yeah. Did you think the registration price was a little too high this year at all? Because obviously you guys paid before you guys even found out about the rules, right?
Which is crazy to me. I mean, granted, they had a rule book out, right? Mm-hmm. But man, you see that rule book? Like, it had so many things in it, but then also there were so many questions that people still had. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the communication was just from the coordinators and the hosts was just go read the rule book, Come mm-hmm. day of the tournament, things were different from the rule book compared to what we were doing actually on Saturday and Sunday. And so that causes a lot of confusion. But yeah, the registration fee was the highest I've ever seen in all my years of J4.
Yeah, that kind of I feel like that could have, if it was lower, definitely could have saw more teams, not even just for men's but for women's as well.
Yeah.
But how did you think Predators did in general for first day? I know you guys only did just play first day, but how did you think pool play was? Did you feel like you were competing at least, or giving everyone a run for their money?
Yeah, this year for Predators, I don't think that we played our best at J4 this year. I think we didn't make some of the best choices in regards to rotation. I think we just couldn't figure things out faster than what we needed to do. And I think that really caused a bottleneck with how we played. And so it was a little disappointing, but it was a team thing. It was all of us, and it wasn't, that someone destroyed us or anything like that. Granted, there was a lot of win factor as well. Mm-hmm. It's just we couldn't figure things out as a team quick enough, put it that
Okay.
way. So I personally don't think that we played our best. And I think a lot of my girls would agree too.
Okay. Yeah. And I know you don't only just play J4. You obviously play like Memorial Day, Labor Day, and like Wausau, obviously. But for like those tournaments, do you think there should be any changes for those tournaments at all? And or are there like any issues as much as like how J4 is ran, where you just don't know how the format's gonna go, or um, anything like
I
that at
think
all?
I think everything with J4 right now, a lot of folks that are putting together tournaments
Mhm.
are doing a lot better than how they're communicating. I think they definitely make the rules very clear prior to registration,
Mhm.
which I think is essential, so that teams can make the decision of whether or not they want to come, right?
Mhm.
Where they want to spend money. I think from in the past compared to now, I think we've definitely grown in regards to grown and learned in regards to Hmong women's volleyball specifically.
Yeah.
Um, I still think that we can continue to move towards a place where Hmong women's volleyball or just the Hmong women's community, volleyball
Mhm.
community feels actually not just volleyball community,
Yeah.
all Hmong women athletes feel as though that they are valued as
Mhm.
athletes, even though it's maybe not as entertaining as some folks would put it. We are still athletes and we are still training and working really hard, and we deserve the same amount of money as
Mhm.
guys, or the same amount of, or just the same way the tournament is ran, just a little bit more attention on the Hmong women athletes. um, I think they do a lot better than J4. Some of the things, going back to what I was saying before. And I think, like I said, we're definitely moving towards a direction where, our athletes are getting a little bit more attention, and they are feeling as though we are valued and we are heard based off of, the concerns that we have.
Yeah. And I guess going off like that, and like I know you mentioned like you've played so many tournaments. How did you even get into volleyball? Was that something that your family forced on you? I know some people either get into it from family, some people just kind of play with their friends because they're all playing. Like, how did you get into it?
No, it's funny. My family actually doesn't play. A lot of them play for fun, but I don't really have anyone else in my family that plays competitively for the Hmong tournaments.
Mhm.
Other than myself, I have some family that plays, basketball or football, but no, I started off playing basketball in Milwaukee because all my uncles and my friends played basketball, and I played for high school. And then through church, everyone would play volleyball after church and go set up
Mhm.
at the park. And I think I really like competing. Back then I was a huge tomboy and I liked doing what the guys are doing. And during that time they were playing sports. So like I want to go out and do all that stuff. And so I guess since the youth were playing a lot of volleyball, I just started to I don't even remember the moment where I'm like, oh my God, I love volleyball. I don't think I had that moment, but I think more so I like competing. Like I like the trash talking. I like proving people wrong. And
Mhm.
so I think that's kind of where it stemmed from. And yeah, that's where I started. I started late though for volleyball, because no one
Okay.
taught me or anything like that. I watched so many YouTube tutorials. I did so many different things. No one taught me at all. I never played organized ball. So I had to learn everything, all the fundamentals on my own. And I just then started playing with the Milwaukee girls, and I had knew nobody. I'm Southside. I don't know if anybody knows from Milwaukee, but I'm Southside Milwaukee, like way down here. And
Yeah.
everybody that
Yeah.
played volleyball competitively was way up north. So they were
Mhm.
north side girls, and so I would have to find a way to go and play against the north side girls. So that's all it really was.
Yeah, and this isn't even on like the list of questions I sent you, but like, dude, how tall are you, dude? Because like you're like you're always playing middle, so obviously like you usually put your tallest player there, but like you're pretty tall compared to like your teammates and like even like most general girls that play in the Hmong tournaments.
I am a taller Hmong girl. I'm 5'7".
Damn,
Um, some people gonna say that I'm 5'6.5", but I'm pretty sure I'm 5'7". We're gonna stick with that.
5'7". And did you choose to play middle, or is that something that they kind of just force you like, hey, you got to play middle?
No, no, no. I mean, because I didn't hit a growth spurt until I hit college, and that's
Mhm.
exactly when I started playing volleyball. A little after it, yeah, I hit a growth spurt in college, which is really weird. And I started volleyball as an outside player, but the thing about me is that I struggle with timing the ball because
Okay.
outside is a higher set,
Yeah.
so struggle with it. But I did like I loved playing outside. I could hit a really good line and angle, and from there I was like, man, I kind of want to go faster. Like I go really fast.
Hmm.
Like my feet are just constantly moving, and so infamous Joel, the setter,
Hmm.
um, she lived in Milwaukee during the time I was still playing, and so she kind of helped me to become a middle. And so I learned how to become a middle based off of her sets, like her quick sets, and that's kind of really it. And I started to like it. I'm just like, yeah, let me just send me the ball really fast. Let me just put it down really fast.
Hmm.
And so I enjoyed it a lot more. Nobody told me to be a middle.
Okay.
You don't see a lot of middles.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. And then for, I guess, you've played the game for like over a decade now. Obviously, you've played a lot of teams from all over. You've played from like what, Georgia, all the way up to Minnesota, Wisconsin, even Cali. Was there a team that you like recall, or like an individual that challenged you the most on the court that you played against?
Um, well, back when I first started playing, like Infamous was the team where it was just like, dang, they signed up, like, and you get a little nervous, like
Hmm.
you get that you butterflies in your stomach because you're like, damn, Infamous is here, they're probably gonna win the whole tournament.
Yeah.
So that's when I was playing. So we would do every single like we would do good every single game, but then when we played against Infamous, it's like we just didn't know how to play ball anymore. And I don't know if that was like the intimidation factor because they weren't killing on us. They were just playing very smart and it killed us. And so like I hated that. I was like, man, every time it's like a mental thing
Yeah.
when we played against Infamous. Um, and then I guess one individual that stands out to me the most for volleyball or from Milwaukee,
Mhm.
Emily Her, the loudest girl you'll hear in Milwaukee. Doesn't play too much anymore, but back when we were playing, like we're the same age. I think I'm a year older than her, but she used to just be so loud, and her energy would intimidate and scare people when we play against them.
Yeah.
Like, and one thing Emily used to always tell me, she's just like, I don't want to play with the best team. Like, it's not. She's like because the win against them would mean so much more. So she's just like she's not a bandwagoner. She doesn't just jump on to any team.
Hmm.
She's just like it. The saying was just like if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she did not go by that at all. She's like, I don't want to play with the best team. Why would I want to play against the best team? I want to create a team in order to beat the best team.
That's tough.
And
That's
so
tough.
I just remember her always saying that, like, win or lose, you know what I mean? Like, we're here to compete against the best team, even if we don't win. But
Mhm.
it's just like, so it really kind of stuck with me all these years. And I don't even think she knows that.
Nice.
But
Nice. Um, and so I guess I know you like brought up players that you've played against, but is there like a teammate of yours that just stood out to you when you played with them? You're like, damn, like we were a pretty solid squad with her on the team. Was their favorite teammate at all? I mean, I don't want to stir any controversy or stir anything up, but
I won't say anybody from my team right now.
okay.
Even though, I got a lot of love for them too.
Mhm.
But if we're going to get into the the weeds, Jocelyn Yang from Green Bay.
Mhm.
She and her and I used to travel so much for ball, and we really clicked. We were like a package deal whenever we played tournaments, and
Mhm.
she really inspired me to keep playing as well because her whole family played. Like Uncle Eric on Midwest Express, Too Long, all of them were playing
Mhm.
volleyball then, and they were able to help train us. And so I would always go to Green Bay. Man, I go to Green Bay like 2 or 3 times a week during the
Yeah.
weekday. I'd drive 2 hours to go play ball with Green Bay and then drive
Yeah.
back to Milwaukee. Like that's how it was. And just being around her family made me feel um, I don't know, it just made me feel really, really good. And it pushed me to keep playing volleyball. And I'm still in communication with all of them right now too.
Mhm.
Jocelyn she was a big influencer in my volleyball early on in my volleyball career, if you will.
Nice, nice. And do you remember like how your first tournament went at all? I mean, not everyone comes from like winning. Obviously, you don't like it. It's very tough to win right off the bat. But do you
Yeah.
remember how your like first volleyball tournament in the Hmong community was like?
I think this is when Green Bay and Oshkosh or Green Bay was still a thing.
Hmm.
and Milwaukee was hosting tournaments back then too. Milwaukee don't host no tournaments now, but it was with a team called Sevenfold, with some church girls too, and I don't remember specifically the tournament. I remember our jerseys and I remember taking pictures. I don't remember how I was playing in it. It's been so long, but
Yeah.
that I think that was my first tournament, and that was like my first team that I was on too. So it was really cool.
Did y'all win?
No, I don't think we won. I don't think we won.
It's
No,
okay. It's okay.
it
But
was cool. It was my first team. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. But what has been like your favorite? I know if I remember, you did go out to play in Cali within like the past like 2 years, right? Like it was recent. How is it out playing out in Cali?
They built different out there for sure. They built different. It was so weird. The way, so I guess there was a lot of rain that was happening, and they switched it last minute to be indoor tournament, which it usually never is for Fresno.
Hmm.
And we ended up playing like 5 p.m. to like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
both days. That was really weird for us, and the
Yeah.
time zone differences, it was stressful. So but it was really fun. But playing against those girls, like, they got mad defense and they got butter sets. I swear everybody had butter sets. But it was really different because we didn't really know any of the girls.
Hmm.
So I loved being able to compete against them because you these aren't girls you usually play against. So it's unpredictable and it
Hmm.
makes it a little bit more challenging. And so we have to rethink our rotation. We have to think through different strategies in order to compete against them. And then the guys, again, built different. I don't know what they're eating in Cali, but they can jump so freaking high out there too. But yeah, it was a really, really crazy experience. But really, really cool because we got to meet so many people. And I really want to go back out to play on the West Coast again.
Yeah. Are you planning to go this year? I know, they got a lot of competition out there. I know they host a lot of
Maybe
tournaments
I
too.
love playing against those Cali girls. I wish we could see them more than just once a year, you know. So
Hmm.
I travel a lot for volleyball, and we want to try to go. It's hard to say we because my team is from everywhere,
Hmm.
but I know like I want to go and play over there, whether it be with play some of the Cali girls or something like that. But just to go and support and see that community as well, volleyball community. We're thinking about Sacramento. We've already gone to Fresno, so maybe Sacramento this year during Thanksgiving. Who knows?
Nice, nice. When you were playing in that tournament, like obviously you guys were like the outsiders coming in to town, did you feel like there were high expectations for you guys to do well out in Cali,
Oh,
being
yeah,
out of towners?
I definitely do feel like that because we had Colorado, we had Wisconsin, Minnesota, we had NC. And
Hmm.
so it was kind of like, okay, all of us are coming to compete against Cali. Obviously, we're the out of staters. People don't want us to win from Cali.
Yeah.
So, no, we had a lot of support on my lives. People were sharing them, people were cheering us all on. And I'm really happy that at the end of it, like we did it for Colorado, we did it for our own individual states. So I
Hmm.
thought that was really, really cool. But it took like a group of us to go over there and compete. So it was really cool though.
Nice. Yeah. And then you said like you guys played like 5 p.m. to 3 a.m. Do you
Yeah.
even like remember what time finals started for you guys? Was it like Monk side out too? Or was it all rally?
um, I feel like it was rally. I feel like it was rally.
Hmm.
I think it was rally best 2 out of 3. Um, I don't remember what time final started. Like everything kind of just was going with. We only had one women's net, and
Wow.
that was it. So. But there weren't as many women's teams. Put it that way.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't even remember the format of the tournament. I know the hosts. They're good friends,
Yeah.
but it was so blurry. Again, granted, it was 2 years ago,
Hmm.
but we were so tired. Like we had never played a tournament like that before, and so I'm assuming maybe finals was at like 2 between 2 to 4 a.m. for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know you recruit like girls from all over. Um, is this like how did you form Predators? I'm assuming you're the team captain, obviously. How did you even like reach out to these girls and get them down to play with you?
Well, um, I lived in a lot of different states, man, and I traveled
Mhm.
to a lot of different communities in order to meet those girls and play with them. This is all when I still lived in Milwaukee. Like
Mhm.
I had flown down to Pennsylvania to play in their community, played in Rhode Island, South Carolina, North Carolina. Like I've flown to those communities and have made a lot of good friends there. And so I was able to kind of put together an idea of like, okay, well, like I think she could be really good. I think this person can be really good.
Mhm.
We wanted to put a team together that the Midwest hasn't seen before. Mostly because a lot of the girls from the Midwest don't actually leave to go play volleyball outside of just the Midwest.
Mhm.
And so, man, I want to highlight these girls too that nobody knows. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so I'm like, come and play. But that's really what it came down to. I lived in Georgia for about 2 years. And so I was in that community for a little while. Um, and yeah, I kind of just pieced some girls together
Mhm.
and that was really it.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I think, I've always like wanted to go out and just see like different comp. Obviously,
For sure.
like Midwest plays different than, like East Coast, for example, like Team Rhode Island and like the PA boys, like we play different than them. And then there's Cali who just completely different out of this world.
Yeah.
Um, so when you're like recruiting or when you're thinking of like girls you want to play with, do you think of getting people who are better than you? There are people who like create teams and have their own ego. Like, do you pick girls who you think are better than you, or do you pick girls who just kind of have the same mindset? Like what goes into like the thought process for each tournament?
Well, for sure. I mean, I definitely want to get people that are better than me in their positions. You know what I mean? But I
Mhm.
think for me, what matters more is their mindset because I think your mindset's going to make or break you. Even after, like, you can be the most skillful player, but if your mindset isn't there, you're not going to be around too long. And so I think that's what matters to me more, but also the type of person you are and how you treat people and if you're going to vibe with us because I
Okay.
think that really matters too and it's really important because we're supposed to be a team, right?
Yeah.
So I think mindset though overall.
Okay. And you have a lot of experience. Obviously, there's probably going to be a lot of like younger folks watching this, or like younger women who want to play competitively or more competitively. Do you have like any sort of advice for like teams that are just starting out, or individuals that kind of want to break out of their own shell and become better?
Absolutely. I think in order to get better, you have to play with and against better people. That's what my dad used to always tell me. He's like, you just going to set up at the park every day and playing against the same girls isn't going to help you get better. Or
Hmm.
guys, isn't going to help you get better. Granted, some of them are your friends. If you really want to be better or become the best, then you have to branch out and go and play against different people that will
Hmm.
challenge you.
Yeah.
So play against those people. Don't get butt hurt or don't take things personally. Let it fuel you, and let it show in your game. Right? Show up. Show up. Even if you don't know anybody, if nobody knows your name, just show up because it matters. Like
Hmm.
I wasn't good when I first started, or I didn't know anyone or didn't know what to do. Like I just go and count. Be like, hey, who's got next count? Can I play or can I play with you? You just
Hmm.
go. The more you show up, the more people are gonna remember you. They're gonna be like, this girl might not be that good, but she shows up every day, and that says a lot about you. You
Hmm.
know. And then I think just lastly, I think it's important to consider the type of player you want to be at the
Hmm.
end of the day, right? And how you treat people, right? It's the type of player you want to be, but also the type of person you want to be. So I think a lot of what happens off the court does reflect what happens in the court too. Be consistent with who you are on and off the court, and make sure that you value your morals and your character more than a dub, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, no, that's very, very, very nice advice. I think, that's not even just for like, Hmong women volleyball. I think that's just for volleyball in general, or for people who want to play and compete in general. Um, and could I just ask, like, I know you obviously like have been posting that you've been working out more often. Is that just for volleyball? Is that for you, your own health? Is that just for training in general?
It's a little bit of both. I am getting older, so I'm like, I gotta make sure that I keep myself healthy here,
Hmm.
so that I don't have any injuries as I'm getting older too. I think that plays a big role in it. But no, it definitely helps me with conditioning for volleyball or for anything really
Hmm.
outside of volleyball. But I think it's kind of it's a it's just a life choice
Yeah.
more so versus just sports. I know it helps enhance my performance for sports,
Hmm.
but I think it also helps enhance my health. So
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Go to the gym, get your workout in.
And then you, are there like any tournaments that you guys are planning to play for the rest of the year? I know Wausau is the next big tournament. Are you guys planning Predators are planning to play in that at all?
We're talking about it right now and figure some things out. Again, the hardest part is because all my girls are out of state. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So we actually don't even get to practice. We kind of just show up, and
Mm.
I think that's what makes it really challenging for us sometimes. Um, so we're trying to figure it out. It is very expensive to travel and kind of get all of us together.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. We're
Okay.
supposed to help Too Long host actually our team,
Wow,
but
really?
yeah, so it's because we helped Hova last year as well,
Hmm.
with helping to run certain things, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens here within the next few weeks. But other than that, maybe I don't know about Labor Day yet. Um, maybe Oklahoma and then maybe Sacramento.
Okay. You
We
really do travel for ball.
one tournament at a time. I got to focus on one at a
One
time.
at a time. All right. Sounds good. Just quick, like fun question. Do you like how many tournaments have you actually won? Like, how many rings do you have? More than
Uh,
your fingers?
More than my fingers, for sure. I got man. Too bad I don't have my trophies up here, but they're all downstairs. I don't know. You see, you didn't tell me you were going to ask me this
No, I,
question.
I just wanted to know because you have a lot of accolades. Obviously, does each championship, does the next one mean more now that you're getting older?
I think honestly, it would have meant so much more if I had won those when I was younger
Mm,
versus now. I think like nowadays, I'm okay. Like, believe me, I want to win, right?
mhm,
But I don't want to win at the cost of being a bad person or cheating or doing anything like that. Like I want to
mhm.
win fairly and I want to compete fairly. But for me, I'm okay if we played our absolute best and our hardest and we still lost, but I know that we all did our best. Like that's a better feeling than losing a crap game completely because we didn't perform our best. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
think those things matter more to me um, than just a dub too. So yeah, I don't. To answer your question, though, I don't know. So I might go count after this.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. What do you like to do like off the court? I think most people just assume, you dominate in the volleyball courts. You probably just practice and play all the time. Like, what's your lifestyle like?
um, well, volleyball is definitely a big part of it, right?
Hmm.
But then also, I mean, I like to fish. Back when I lived in Georgia, I fished a lot. I actually stopped playing volleyball to go fish more back in Georgia. Um, let's see. I do a lot of marketing, digital marketing, and that's something I actually enjoy too. It's not just my career.
Hmm.
Software, SaaS, AI. That's kind of what my career is right now too. So I don't know. I like being outdoors. I like going on boats. I like fishing too.
Yeah.
But I think volleyball is kind of like my core thing where I really, really enjoy competing. I guess
Yeah.
kind of
And
my
like for like, there's so many tournaments throughout like the summer. How do you balance that with like volleyball life with, like family life, when especially because these tournaments are on like holiday weekends, like is there a good balance? Is there a good understanding?
that was really challenging too. I think my family knows now that if there's a big tournament like there's J4, everyone
Hmm.
knows where I'm going. Like, I don't even question it.
Hmm.
Um, if if a tournament lands on a birthday or something that my family's doing, like I'm not gonna go. But sometime I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I'll be like, well, can I just go for first day and then come later? You know, like I'm
Yeah.
trying to make that work. I'm like, hey, like it's 50-50 here. But I think my family knows now that it means a lot to me to compete. Because my dad plays golf too. He's 7-time J4 champ as
Damn.
well for golf. And so like I think my mom and my siblings just know that like, hey, when dad's kind of been doing his thing, you leave him to do his thing. And just kind of support and cheer them on. And so I think my family has done that for me as well over these last few years. So it's they kind of know when it's tournament time or when it's getting close to it. They kind of like let us be, and you know, just because they're there to support us. They know it's our core thing that we really enjoy.
No, that's good. That's good. Dang. I didn't know your dad was like a 7-time golf champ. That's crazy. I guess I never know this too. Did you ever win a J4 at all? Have you won a J4 or what's the closest you've gotten?
I've never won a J4. I'm always like, well, this is the first J4. I didn't make it a second day. Tell you that. That was a
Mhm.
bust. But I think quarters or semis. I was just kind of stuck right there. So
Okay. Okay. And then I guess
hasn't
for
happened yet. Just hasn't happened yet.
maybe, hey, there's always next year, but what do you think your best quality is as a player? Like, is it your hitting, your offense, or your defense? Because I've seen you like people probably just like look at your hitting highlights, but I think I've seen you like pick some crazy hits up.
My defense too. No, I think. Are you talking about just like physically, like what, like offense or defense, or?
Just what you think your best like what you bring best to the team, you know.
Um, I think I bring hype more so hype and energy a little bit more than the rest of the girls. But then also I feel like I bring the mentality too. But sometimes it's really hard. Everyone kind of competes differently, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it can be really hard to kind of gather your team and be on the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like for me, it's my mentality. I feel as though is a lot stronger than the rest of the girls, and that might be because I'm a little older and I've been playing a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't necessarily always focus on like power hitting. So it's more so kind of being smarter now. But I think my mentality, I don't want to say my defense just because I know other girls on my team have better defense than me, but I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to sell myself short either because I definitely worked really hard on my defense. And then just the middle. I think one of my strongest qualities as a middle or just a player in general is like I have really fast feet and I move around a lot. If you watch any of our videos, I'm constantly moving. Like I don't stand in one place
Mm-hmm.
for too long, defense and offensively, but more so offensively. Like I run middle, but then I also run right side too, and I'm
Mm.
going constantly. So yeah, that's a fast feet.
Yeah.
A lot
All
of people
right.
say, but
Yeah. And then I know, yeah, you mentioned like, there's a lot of like girls that are younger in your team. Do you feel like you're sort of like a player coach essentially then? Or do you actually I think you coach, don't you? Right? For women's?
I did coach, not for Hmong women's. I did a season of coaching organized volleyball,
Mm-hmm.
but that was my first time. It's kind of different because I've never actually played organized volleyball too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but no, I thought about this after J4. I was like, I don't want to be the coach. Like I want to play and I want my girls to not feel as though I'm their coach just because
Mm-hmm.
I'm the captain, I'm the oldest one on the team because I don't know everything. Like I don't see everything either.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so no, I don't try to position myself as the coach of our team. Absolutely not. I don't. If anything, I want to be more so of a mentor on the court and off the court. I think that's really big for me and my girls. Like I want to know what's going on with your life outside of volleyball because I know it contributes into how you play. So um, I think that's kind of the position I want to be in versus being a coach of our
Okay.
team.
Okay. And did you have like when you were like starting out, did you have like your own mentor as well? Like someone who kind of like, hey Kim, like hey, you got to pick it up, or just kept you in check and kept your mentality there.
I feel like a lot of people were doing that from Milwaukee, kind of
Yeah.
just kind of in my ear as well. Not negatively, but sometimes some of the comments would make me mad. But I think a lot of people from Milwaukee said a lot of different things that helped me.
Mm-hmm.
I know Uncle James, which is also Jocelyn's uncles, they drilled us a lot too, but it's all love. Like they just want us to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so not necessarily, I wouldn't say just one mentor and specifically. I think a lot of people kind of poured into, into me and the type of player that I am right now.
Yeah, and obviously you've dealt with a lot of different crowds, dealt with a lot of different like teams you played against, and things spread so fast on like social media where they're probably like, oh, like things just people always like target the team that's winning. They're like, oh well, they stack their team up or they grab this super good girl. Like, do you feel like how do you handle like the negative comments or like the negative like hate that comes towards like not just you but like your team after like you win a tournament or after you play a team and you can tell that they're obviously like talking crap behind your back.
Well, for me, I think I do very well at kind of zoning things out. I've definitely heard a couple of things, right? But people are going to say something whether you're winning or losing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people always say. I think it does. When I was younger, maybe it would have impacted me a lot more. Not that it doesn't still get me upset or kind of fired up nowadays, but I try to use it as fuel, and I try to teach my girls to use it as fuel too, to stand up for each other. And I think right now, sometimes like after J4, I don't even want to be on social media and read all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because it just makes you even more upset when you share your opinion. Here's the thing: you can't share your opinion or talk trash and expect everyone to agree with your opinion too. You know what I mean? You can't publicly post that stuff and not expect to get a negative response back to you. And so that's why I really tell my girls too. I'm like, stay like, yes, it's messed up, but like mind your business too. Like, don't say nothing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because we don't need to be getting into all of that right now because it's just gonna mess us all up mentally. And it could cause tension. And I just don't want any of that. So it's hard to stay away from it,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I do pretty well at kind of um, just keeping my mouth shut, keep your mouth shut if you're going to be disrespectful, or you
Yeah.
have something to say. It's like I'm just like I really don't want to stir things up. Like
Mm-hmm.
they have their opinion, they can say what they want to say, because I know myself, I know my team, and that's not us. So say what you got to say.
Nice, nice. Well, I started this podcast with asking about J4. I'm going to ask you about next year's J4
Okay.
real quick. Do you think would you like as yourself be interested in like hosting it or think there should be like a current modern day player that's kind of hosting it,
Mm,
obviously like or like men's and women's like you would host the women's side of things and someone can host the men's side of things. Do you think that should happen next year?
yeah, I think that should happen. A lot of people have asked me about hosting too. I'm lazy, guys. I'm sorry. I'm lazy to host. It's a lot of work. And I've actually never hosted a tournament before. I've assisted, but I've never actually done the hosting. I think if anything, I want to be able to just help support it in the ways that I can, but I don't think I would host. But again, a lot of people are just like, if you guys are complaining, then why don't you guys go host?
Mm-hmm.
That's why my mouth shut. I'm like, I'm gonna voice how I feel on certain things, but like, I don't think I really want to go host a tournament. But I definitely think um, with how things are turning or kind of leading to, it would be really nice to have a coordinator that's a female and a male for both sports. That way they can represent us and speak on behalf of us and communicate clearly to us, right? Versus women's and men speaking all to the same coordinator and him just confusing things and not communicating properly
Mm-hmm.
and just posting it like too much with the social media stuff. Like it's going back and forth. But I do think the Hmong volleyball community could do a little better at you know, holding back some things that they're saying. But yeah, I can't, like they stir things up a lot. Like there are definitely some clowns and some trolls that are just there to start stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's just I don't really think that's helping us to kind of move forward either.
Mm-hmm.
Say your opinions, but like I think people just are trying to see each other at each other's throats, and that's entertaining for them. And so that's why we're going nowhere. And I do feel as though the Hmong volleyball community is very entitled because they'll ask for one thing once they get it. oh, it's not good enough.
Mm,
So
yeah.
that definitely happened before. And I think, like, what do we want? It's so, I bet if I was a coordinator, it'd be so hard to deal with the Hmong volleyball community. I'm telling you. But I think we just need a reset. And I think that would be an awesome reset for J4 specifically to kind of bring it back to where it was once before.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me on my podcast. You didn't have to, but I appreciate it.
Thanks
And
for
good
asking.
luck on your next tournament. I'm assuming it's going to be Wausau. I don't want to jinx it if you don't play, but obviously, you'll be helping too long there. My brother's helping too long too, so hopefully we'll see you there. But yeah, good luck to Predators. And yeah, you guys, I think you guys are still the team to watch out for. So yeah, thank you so much, Kim.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me, man.
All right, thank you.